on EGC TV.
With that being said, we're jumping into game number 1 over here. Welcome to Lucifron versus Don Artie. With me is Nili, and we have everyone's favorite Rus mirrors to start with on high view. On the left is Lucifron playing as the blue, and on the right side is going to be Don Artie as the red.
Rus Mirror, let's go! If you're a fan of horse archers, if you want to see some mobility, this is going to be something that you love. Obviously, we will see a lot of action early on, right? If we compare this to an English mirror, for example, where it takes a lot more time and you see just longbows clashing against each other, this one is more with mobility. Scouts will be out on the field. The question is, how many scouts are we going for in Dark Age? 3 seems to be a reasonable number. What do you think?
3 is usually the number that the Rus go for. On the other hand, I think it depends on how fast you find those patches of deer, so after getting the 3rd scout in, is there still a ton of hunt to go for? Because if there is still a lot of hunt to go for, it might be worth adding a 4th one, just so that you can get some sort of advantage when it comes to bounty collection over your opponent. You will need some more in Feudal Age anyways for professional scouts, but yes, 3 is the safe option, I would say. Only 45 bounty for Don Artie. Lucifron is already hitting that 100 mark, and he's bringing in 2 wolves, so he has to be happy with that start. He's also taking down the hunt of Don Artie, and Don Artie is off to a little bit of a pedestrian start over here.
Don Artie not going for his safe deer here? Got one of the opponent. This is weird. Oh, Don Artie, he scouted his deer spot. All other 3 are taken. This is greedy.
Yeah, he went forward. He also aggroed 2 wolves, but as you said, there is still 1 patch of huntables for him to take down. But Lucifron already done with 2 patches of huntables, so he can start looking for wolves. And on this map, high view, you have a lot more wolves than on other maps. So part of the reason why Rus is extremely powerful over here is because you're almost guaranteed to get to that level 2 bounty, even in a Rus mirror matchup.
Yep. So true. And we've seen lots of kills. And it feels like Lucifron sits at 200. We only have 130 for Don Artie. So those 2 wolves really paying off. Don Artie will get to 160 at least, though.
160, not terrible, but not great at all, especially in the mirror setup, because it very much seems like Lucifron is getting to 250, so he's going to have a food gathering advantage over his opponent. And it doesn't seem like it's much, but in a mirror matchup, every single little detail matters, especially if you're doing the exact same build order even.
Don Artie, he feels a bit off here with his...
He's a little slow over here. That
Ouch.
scout was idle on deer for some time. So Lucifron got off to a way better start over here. And he's already going up to Feudal Age with the Golden Gate. Don Artie also on the way to Feudal, building it with 6 villagers as opposed to 5 from his opponent. So he will hit Feudal Age just a tiny bit faster than his opponent.
And actually, Don Artie, 290 gold now. He got lots of wolves behind the scenes without us noticing. So we were like trash talking Don Artie the whole time. Actually, he knows more than us, apparently. He's ahead by 40 bounty.
Yeah, he bumped into a couple of wolves, and ultimately, that's a very nice amount of bounty for him to grab. His start was a little slow, but after that he caught up, and now he's the one ahead in terms of gold numbers. So let's look at the deer patches real quickly, because they seem to be fairly well balanced, but Don Artie's first patch of deer is very close to his base, whereas Lucifron's one is a lot more on the front, so it's a little easier for Don Artie to steal some hunt from his opponent than the other way around.
Yeah. Certainly likely that will be the first angle of attack from both players. Let's count scouts. We see 4 for Don Artie and only 3 for Lucifron right now. So we'll be a bit later. Now queues up another scout before going for professional scouts. Oh, he will be late.
That's a bad decision, I think. Because...
Agree.
Oh, he's actually getting a 2nd scout even. The problem here for him is that he's gonna have a lot of scouts, but he won't be able to pick up the carcasses. Now, if he can fight Don Artie's scouts, that might still work out, but I feel like worst case scenario, Don Artie just starts to ferry in his own deer and then moves out once he gets a couple more scouts out himself. Lucifron is going to delay his professional scouts so much over here.
And another scout. What's happening? He trying to play fast castle? Did he forget about the tech? What's happening here, Lidakor?
I have no idea. The weird thing is that he's not even sending those scouts forward to try and kill Don Artie, because I would think his plan now is that he just wants to overpower his opponent with scout numbers. But even then, that's a little difficult because you have to get some good surrounds. And you see, Don Artie, he is going to pick up the hunt of his opponent without any kind of contesting from Lucifron. So
Ay,
weird.
ay, ay. And how much out of position Lucifron is. It's shocking. He could contest those a bit at least. He has reasonable numbers now. But wow, he's a solid minute away still from getting professional scouts. And 4 of his carcasses are already yoinked away.
That's terrible. Like, that's flat out terrible, because Don Artie probably won't even come back for this patch of Huntables. He's going to move up and take the one on the north. And now Don Artie is going to start adding scouts himself, so Lucifron won't even be able to leverage his initial scout numbers advantage. And we also shouldn't forget the fact that look at how much or how many sheep carcasses you have for Lucifron beneath his town center. Nothing. And by delaying that professional scouts, he's going to run out of food underneath his town center.
Oh, luckily 2 sheep are
Oh, yeah.
coming in. And
Ah,
Lucifron is going on to gold. That's something we never see. In the game earlier, we saw, what was it, like 8,500 gold without ever going on to gold. Obviously, that's tougher in a Ruse Mirror, but Lucifron's timing will be so delayed.
Actually, looking at his resources, it's looking pretty decent. If you look at that, it's 800 food in the bank, already 300 gold. I am not that disappointed about moving to gold, because if he just mines a tiny bit of gold, he might get just enough so that he can cut down on the use of the Golden Gate and maybe nail a slightly better castlage timing. But now Don Artie's eco is going to skyrocket, so you see, Don Artie is very heavy on the wood department. He's just going to sell all of that. Ultimately, I think the castlage times will be closer, but there's going to be way more hunt for Don Artie to work with, so his economy is going to be quite a bit ahead.
Oh. I'm super curious how this one will play out. 5 on gold now. So weird. Lidakor.
It is so weird. It feels like he wants to cut down on that Golden Gate use, because you see, he's got 1 ticket, so he's going to get 150 gold for himself. Right now, he needs 50 more to age up. He's trying to accelerate his castlage by using the Golden Gate less, but he had a lower food eco compared to his opponents, so ultimately, Don Artie is going to have pretty much the same castlage timing over here. Lucifron actually ahead by a couple of seconds, and he's rushing up that Abbey of the Trinity with 12 bills. Honestly, I'm surprised how well this build went, given how weird it looked like.
Well, it's still minus 4 carcasses, right?
Yep.
Ah, there's still 1 to take. Don Artie didn't find the last one. It's kind of hidden behind a bush. You have to move the camera to actually see it. Oh, now yoinking again? But that shouldn't work. No, 0 chance.
Actually, Don Artie isn't reacting very fast, and that is going to be 5 carcasses stolen over here. Looks like 1 scout will go down, but Don Artie's reaction here was a tiny bit slow, and all this hunt that he took away initially is now gone. That is a disappointment for Don Artie. That should have never worked.
Okay, apparently more than 0% chance. What? They are so slow by Don Artie. Scouts out of position. He didn't pull villagers. He continued with the landmark. He didn't go for the wooden fortress. And now it's even in carcasses again. This is so good for Lucifron.
It is so good for Lucifron, especially because he was up to castlage a little faster, so he's already out with horse archers. His first warrior monk is almost completed, and that raise to the warrior monk also matters, because you're trying to secure some extra relics over your opponent. Relic spawns are very, very even. We do have 2 in between the players, 1 sort of in neutral ground, a little closer to Don Artie, and 1 close to the bases of each player. Still, one thing to note is that we have only 2 ranges right now for Lucifron, and Don Artie is at 4, so the cav archer numbers will be way better for Don Artie in the next 1 or 2 minutes.
I'm really getting angry here. There's so much stuff happening that I either disagree with, don't understand, or that at least I can't explain. But, well, they are making stuff work here for sure. And the run for the relics is happening. You already mentioned the positions. Lucifron already getting 1 home.
And Don Artie is going for the board. That's such a clever thing to do. That's 75 gold to work with. Plus, it pushes you towards that tier 3 bounty. He doesn't have anything better to do with those scouts and horse archers right now. Might as well kill that boar. It's gonna give him a little bit of extra gold. And if he kills the other one as well, he would be at 485. And with the sheep back at home, he should get to tier 3, which is a nice little advantage in a mirror matchup. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have a couple of horse archers out for Lucifron, also some scouts. Lucifron is moving out for Relic in front of his base first. Looks like he's going to take that uncontested, and he's already having the Relic on the left side taken. Also killing, what was that? Was the wolf that he killed?
Yeah, I still heard a wolf. The way 4 archery ranges against 3 archery ranges. And Donati already a nice advantage there with +4 horse archers. An engagement would go in favor of our Red Roost player from the south.
The difference in the food income is now very noticeable because Donati had way more carcasses to work with for a long time, so overall his food income per minute is looking much better. That should even out once these carcasses start come into play for Lucifron as well. But as I said, better horse archer numbers right now for Donati. So the next question now is A, who's gonna get the better relic numbers, and B, who is grabbing Boyar's Fortitude first, because in a Rus Mirror it's all about the timing. You get the Boyar upgrade a little faster, you take a fight, and you are guaranteed to win that pretty much.
Now gets the boar himself here, Mr. Donati. Oh, the second one actually, right? And now contesting the sacred site in the center, Lucifron at 18 horse archers, 22 for Donati.
The first warrior monk was sniped, and now you have the warrior monks engaging for Lucifron, which means that he's got the same blessing upgrade, giving him extra pierce armor. That's a ton of extra armor if you consider a horse archer fight over here, and that's the reason why I think that Lucifron is winning this fight decisively. That warrior monk helped out so much, and that is why it was so important for him to snipe that warrior monk from his opponent before that it was able to trigger the Saint's Blessing upgrade.
Well, let's see. Now we get some attacks here in as well. +2 attack, but numbers not looking too hard for Donati anymore.
They don't look great indeed. Still, Lucifron had the initial lower number of horse archers because he had lower production, so he's going to retreat, but that was a good fight taken for him. Behind this one, he's the one with 3 relics, so he carved out a tiny bit of advantage on that department, and those are the small differences that you're looking for in a Rus Mirror. Now Donati is the one forced to make a move, otherwise his opponent will slowly be able to leverage that extra relic that he has gotten. Plus, of course, Lucifron has the sacred site on the left as compared to Donati, who doesn't.
Oh, okay. Trickling in some gold there. So it's +200 gold per minute in that regard. 16 horse archers make it 17 for Donati, 14 only for Lucifron. Kind of the most important number in the game right now.
Donati is already coming in with blacksmith upgrades. He has gotten the first attack upgrade for horse archers, now getting the first defense upgrade. So his horse archers will be slightly better in quality, but the numbers seem to be better here for Lucifron. It has an easier time reinforcing as well. Looks like the two armies will avoid each other for a time being, and upon seeing each other, both will retreat.
Okay. Is there an engagement possible? 22 units. I think Lucifron will have enough at home to defend this. Feels reasonable. No, it's okay. I still have some more gold income over you. And I don't have the blacksmith upgrades. But where's the blacksmith? Lucifron only now going for it. Rushes it with 3 villagers.
He kind of needs that because he won't be able to move out on the map, as we do have a bit of a fight going on here. The warrior monks do trigger the Saint's Blessing for both sides, so that should be rather even, but as we discussed, those extra upgrades help a tiny bit here for Don Artie. Some of his horse archers are not buffed by the warrior monk anymore though, so suddenly that blessing from that blue warrior monk helps a ton, and Lucifron may have just taken a decisive fight over here. It looked way better for Don Artie than it turned out.
Oh yeah, he was a bit overextending a bit there. I was quite surprised that he felt like this could be a potential win for him. And now healing up in the center, Sacred Site is getting neutralized. Starting to like Lucifron's position a bit more, especially if he gets the blacksmith upgrades. Resources are looking good. Boya's Fortitude is now coming in.
And that is the main power spike type of an upgrade, because it's a very, very strong upgrade. It's fairly expensive, but it's mostly gold. So whenever you have the relic advantage, you have an easier time grabbing that compared to your opponent. And you see Lucifron is fortifying the middle here for the sacred sites. Meanwhile, we have Don Artie going for hunting cabins on both of those boars though. Those boars give you a ton of food and just delay your farm and berry transition. Whereas if you look at Lucifron, he's all in on the berry department. So the food economy for Don Artie is going to be great here. But if he gets his villagers down south intercepted, he could be in trouble. So there is a lot of risk involved with this one for Don Artie, but it could be a stick it back into the game because 2 boars are no joke.
Yeah, 4,000 food. And those hunting cabins actually reasonably good when it comes to generating gold as well. I think I would have liked to see a second wooden fortress at the bottom one. But for now, it's just camping. 105 HP pretty soon for Lucifron. Blacksmith upgrade. Is that an option here? So costly. So costly for Don Artie.
Yeah, especially because he's not mining gold at all, and he only has 2 relics, so obviously his gold income is a little lower. He has used the golden gate just now to get himself that upgrade, though. Here it comes for him, and he's fine taking control over the right-hand side, sacred side. Something that he could have done a little earlier, but it looks like he was prioritizing the one in the middle, so he ignored the one on the right. But timing is everything here. Don Artie doesn't have the HP upgrade just yet, so if Lucifron wants to fight, now is the time to do it.
And Lucifron with better numbers. In addition to that, I think maybe looping around and finding another angle could be an option. Woodline feels exposed if
Lucifron
we're not
spotted
attacking.
Lucifron spotted the hunting cabin. Oh boy, that's a terrible, terrible situation for Don Artie to be in. Those scouts help so much, and Don Artie might be forced to fight here to save his villagers.
Oh, is he really saving them though? 6 villagers building it, chasing those horse archers away, and Don Artie is in a world of pain.
Indeed he is. He's going to get that tower up, but at this point he lost 2 lumberjacks. He's already behind in relics, and we do have Lucifron sending 1 horse archer to the right side to neutralize that sacred site. He's gonna have to micro that horse archer all around to try and snipe the warrior monk. Looks like the warrior monk will stay alive, but the horse archers are moving in on the left side. HP upgrade not in for Don Artie yet, and that could be the deciding factor over here, as he's going to lose the majority of his numbers. This might be game here.
Upgrade is finishing in 3 seconds, but he lost all his numbers. Lucifron looking so hard to take this one.
Exactly, and we just saw Warrior Monk also coming in to trigger that blessing, and now the lumberjacks are being raided, and without the wood income, you just won't have the chance to replenish those horse archers. Lucifron knows exactly how good his position is, because he has taken down the majority of the opponent's army, and now he's free to raid wherever he wants. This is looking very, very grim right now for Don Artie.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Such a costly upgrade there, 500 gold, and as we mentioned earlier, not normally the spot where we have any villagers on gold, so tricky to afford that. Horse archer numbers not looking too good. Don Artie is sitting at 18, Lucifron at 28, plus 10 horse archers.
That is looking very good right now. In terms of upgrades, we now have full upgrades for Lucifron's horse archers as the fight begins once again. This will be an even trade, but at this point, the even trades are something that favors Lucifron. Most of the horse archers from Don Artie will be focused down here, and as things stand, he's just struggling to keep his lumberjacks safe.
Oh, does an okay job for now. Obviously healing up a bit easier with all the warrior monks at home. Lucifron needs to disengage a bit. And Don Artie is, well, surviving another day.
He is indeed living to see another day. He still has the villagers on the boars that weren't raided, so he's got a very nice food income from that, although the boars are slowly being depleted. Couple of towers in the middle to fortify this sacred site for Lucifron. He also has Springald on one of them, and that is the old Springald, so it still has 60 base damage. It does a lot of damage against the horse archers over here, and since the horse archers aren't particularly good against buildings, it's going to be difficult for Don Artie to clean those up.
Each workshop now by Lucifron, so we are kind of reaching the next stage of the Ruse Mirror, where you feel like, okay, horse archer, we tested our strength, and now let's go and add some more units. Mangonel probably the starting unit here, but quite costly.
Indeed, good mangonel shots can turn things around, and this is where Lucifron bumps into that tower out there. He probably was going for a boar himself, and then he was surprised to see a tower out. He is going to lose 3, potentially 4 villagers out here. So, not ideal for him, but he now knows that his opponent has villagers there, and when the board is depleted, at some point, those villagers have to come back home. If Lucifron is smart, he's going to send a scout to see when those villagers are moving back home and try to intercept them.
Yeah, or maybe he just prepares for one attack now. If he goes for the Mangonel, for example, killing those villagers is absolutely an option. 8 villages that are not easily defended.
Mangonel is now coming in, and as you said, good Mangonel shots can turn things around, because one Mangonel, it's not that much against horse archers, but once you have 2 or 3 of them out, a single volley from those Mangonels can disintegrate armies. Resource income per minute still fairly close between the two players. Obviously, these towers help a lot for Lucifron, though, to fortify the middle.
Populations are incredibly even, both at exactly 60 villagers. Military 35 for Donati, 37 for Lucifron. Wow, I did not expect it to be that close.
Me neither. I'm very much impressed about Donati right now, because he's doing this being down 2 sacred sites and 1 relic, as the cavalry of Lucifron is now tempted to move in, but he sees the Mangonel and he will retreat. He still has some scouts around, so he could try to burn that down, and oh boy, that's a disaster for Donati though. He loses 2 warrior monks, and those are so much needed to buff the army. There is no more warrior monks here for Donati to get that buff in, so that is a point of concern, especially with the warrior monks of Lucifron moving in and getting that buff for his own units, so suddenly this fight is way better for Lucifron. He might even be able to intercept the Mangonel, and indeed he does. This is looking great once again for Lucifron in the middle.
Why exactly are we fighting under a Sprinkle Tower here, if we are Donati? That felt so weird.
I really feel like he feels that he needs to neutralize the sacred sites because his opponent is getting so much of an advantage over there. But as you said, there's multiple Springald towers over here. Mangonels went down. There weren't any warrior monks to inspire the army of Donati. And once again, this fight was spectacular for Lucifron. Might be enough to win him the game, because at this point, Donati is even running out of the trees next to his base. So he's going to have to move out somewhere, but there is just not enough army for him to secure any map control, and his second forest is going to be denied by that Springald Tower.
Oh yeah, extremely exposed there, but I'm not even sure if moving out there is necessary, because he might be forced to tap this one out before that Mangonel is going down, and this is scary force by Lucifron.
This is looking really tough now for Donati, because now the horse archers are moving in, villagers are getting caught in the crossfire, and when villagers are running towards Mangonels with torches, you know things are ugly.
Oh, especially if Mangonel hits are flying in!
Oh, oh, the Mangonels. That is just an absolute pain for Donati, and seeing all those dead villager bodies, he taps out immediately. Boy, oh boy, was this a great show from both players.
Oh, lots of interesting moves there. And yeah, it just felt Lucifron with the plus 20 HP there took such a good engagement in the mid game, and from there it just snowballed in his favor.
I totally agree with that. In the end, 3,000 more gold for Lucifron, but Donati had 2,000 more food. So really, the boars were just enough to compensate for not having 3 relics and not having those 2 sacred sites. So Donati could have been in a good position had he not lost all those horse archers just before the upgrade came in.
Naja. Ai, 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 ai. Interesting game for sure. What's even more interesting to me is what's coming up next. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Donati going for something